Welcome back, everyone, to Event Icons, and we are joined by Angeles Moreno. And we were talking about whether we should do this whole interview in Spanish, but I think that she's going to bulldoze me and get me way further. She is actually the head of strategic development at MPI of all of Europe.
All of Europe.
Like all the multiple countries and everything like that. So, and you're very, very busy.
I'm very busy. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very excited for everything we're bringing back to Europe.
Absolutely.
And how we are building the value proposition.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that you kind of talked about is that you guys are kind of looking at how can we grow all of these chapters that you guys have over here. So I wanted to talk a lot about that because I'm very active in a couple associations, and I think that I've been a president and all these things like that. And I think you always hear about these things called like member value. And you were talking a little bit before we were on camera saying, we're not just focusing on trying to get, Europe to the American numbers of how many members you have, but instead focusing on member value. So I want to know, what do you think the future for MPI Europe looks like when it comes to member value?
I think we should be the house of growing, of developing, of getting this innovation and this inspiration that you need to growth. I think we need to bring also entrepreneurial spirit for the people to connect, to enjoy, to build great businesses adapted to the new needs of our customers. And I think this should be our goal right now. The meetings and events industry is changing enormously. It will change even more with new generations, and we need to be ready. So the way we have been doing things so far is not putting us in the map of economic industries in the world. And we need to change things. We need to think more strategic, be less logistics, be more orientated in long-term relationships, long-term value, in legacies, in all these concepts that have not been implemented so far. And I think MPI is taking the lead of that in Europe. And I'm very honored to be the person implementing that concepts in our association.
That's amazing. And I think you bring up a really good point because, past associations, just to be a member of the organization, you could get more business that way. Or, if I showed up to this event a couple times, I'm going to get more clients that way. But it doesn't work that way anymore,
No.
right? Like, people, I think I can say myself, or, just think to ourselves to say, why should I even join an association? Because, I get more clients online through social media and reaching out to people, putting out content. Why should I join it? And so you have to look at it completely differently on your head. So how do you think, what's some cool, small, tactical things that you guys are doing to continue to drive forward and continue to make this big change?
Well, I think the most important thing we're doing is looking from the perspective of the different types of members that we have. So segmentation traditionally has been planner, supplier, faculty, students. This is only 4 types of animals. It's a mistake. Within the planners, we have such a variety of people doing from the traditional way of meetings to hybrid meetings to whatever kind of human interaction, and we need to cater that. From suppliers, you had traditionally hotels, venues, caterings, and agencies, for example. And then now if you look at that, what it's outside in the world, what do we have to bring them? That's the question. And that's right now the situation we are facing.
So you guys are having lots of conversations of what do they need? I think that's such a modern conversation to have, is that instead of looking at what do we have and let's shove it upon people and not go down that route, instead looking at what do they need and designing it around that. Obviously you guys are still in the conversations, but do you have any sort of guesses at what you think that everyone needs these days, and when it comes to from associations? Well, I know that's a really hard question. I'm like, hey, answer the question that you guys are working on for the last couple months.
So we have been working, MPI has been processing and digesting research and doing through, we have above 120 volunteers in our board. So it's a big community in Europe thinking for us and helping us to grow and to continue. So we have had task forces in the past, in 2018, 2016 also, that have been helping us in understanding how to grow, how to be sustainable, how to be profitable. So why not? We need to talk also about money, and that's our reality. How can we bring value to the industry? So the plan I'm implementing right now has been a process of research that we have been conducting for 3 years. And it's a plan of 3 years with different goals. So things that we're going to do is, for example, bringing executive education, not on normal basis educations, but how adapted to different type of audiences. Even webinars, we're going to bring completely different certifications, exactly the type of people of education that the people wants to have to make them grow in their professional careers. So we are bringing also our European conference has been completely redesigned. And I got today comments like, this is the best event that is happening in the industry right now. And this just happened in The Hague. Next edition is Seville in February 2020.
Cool.
Because we are understanding stakeholders' perspective, we are designing completely with the event design canvas, actually, the whole concept and how we bring any value, any transformation to this type of people that are attending our events. So these are little steps that we are doing. We are also bringing mentoring to our leaders. We are helping them, we are coaching them on how to become good leaders, because that's a big learning also when you manage or you lead volunteers also, and you are giving back. Instead of charging for your services, you're giving back, and that's a big step. It's a growing process. It's something that you cannot get in a university. It's something that you need to put hands on and start working on that.
I like it. I think you bring up a good point too. The idea you get what you get, you get what you give into the organization, and I think that's like a staple that's kind of like inherently built into all associations. Everyone will say that too, and I think that the more you can ingrain that, I think into the deep culture is really, really important. Tell me a little bit about. I take a little bit of a meta conversation back on it. What advice do you have for someone who's maybe planning events for their association? So you guys have been really successful with your events. Like you said, some of the best to everyone saying it's the best of the best. You know, what do you think the future of events look like for associations?
Oh, for associations, I think it has been traditionally like a way of getting money for the associations and getting in touch with the members. But as I was saying, exactly in the same way associations have been communicating with the members, it's like treating them completely the same, all of them. And right now, the beauty of what is happening right now in society is that we are all different. And we need to be, and we want to be treated different, by the way. We want to feel important. We want to feel that the people know our name, our background, our interest for the future. And we want to feel that concept also as a consumer. So it's not going to change different as what we are expecting from associations. So to build successful events, we need to consider that. We need to consider that everyone that is attending has different needs, different perspectives, and need to feel that in the event and what's happening. And by the way, I think right now we are over-programming in many times events. So it's kind of a crazy situation where the people sometimes say, I'm not going to participate anymore. I'm getting 10 different interactions at the same time, and it is too much. So we need to design that. It must have a purpose. It must have an objective, a way of achieving that, a way of measuring the result also. So planning events is something serious.
I love it. I love it. I think you bring up a good point too. I mean, you also need white space too, right? For us to disconnect, because the reason why you join this group is because it's a group of people brought together. So like, you know, how can we bring everybody together so they have more time in front of people, not just watching a stage or something like that as well?
I think the people want to interact also, as you were saying. They need their space also to find other people to talk. This is why we go to events, human interaction. Otherwise, we go online. We have so much content. We don't need to go outside from our office, our houses, or our perfect, favorite place to stay. If we go out, we want that human interaction. And sometimes we don't let that space for the people to interact. So it's quite overwhelming many times. So it's not design. It's just putting activities and concepts. And I think we're missing something interesting there. And we need more strategy. What kind of content? The content we are transmitting, what's the intention? What do we want to do afterwards differently? How are we going to measure that? How is that impacting the company, the association, the organization to grow? I don't know. This is kind of a question that we need to start doing in this industry.
I love it. That's amazing. It's amazing. What's one thing that you think that you want to share with the audience when it comes to the big work that you're doing today? Anything that you want to share at all with the audience? Any sort of tips or anything like that?
Any tips? That's a good question also. Tips is we need to behave differently in this industry. I've been working in this industry for 22 or 23 years. I don't know, too much probably. And it's really a pain that no one is taking you seriously many times. It's like, oh, mommy, it's attending another event. And that's like kind of a question that even your friends, your family is like, oh, what are you doing? It's another party. It's like, no, I'm working, by the way. And I think that it was our mistake from the industry. So we are not talking seriously. And we need to start doing that, because otherwise this will probably disappear in the future, where human interaction maybe is not that important. With new generation, that it's already very difficult to engage them and to ask them to come and to join. And then on the other side, one good tip is like, we need associations to continue growing, because through the knowledge sharing, through building things together, is how we grow. It's not independent things.
Amazing. Angeles, thank you so much for being on this show. It's been absolutely amazing having you and sharing some of your knowledge in the future and the big stuff that you guys are working on. So we look forward to seeing you in a year from now.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing where you're at and kind of where everything goes. So stay tuned for that. But everyone, stay tuned for some more Event Icons content coming really soon. And we'll be right back.